Alright, step 2 on the grid drawing process. In the last episode we looked at how to draw the grid and then how to begin transferring the information into the grid using the black pencils, nice black charcoal soft here, and a white charcoal. I use both depending on where I'm going to shade. For example, down here on the book area right here, starting in square 7 down there on this, it's white, so I'm going to use the white pencil, just matching that up. Basically what you want is a contour outline. You don't want to do any dark values or too much shading in at this point in the drawing, because we got to get rid of the grid first. You guys following me? Alright, so after you get everything put in here, again mapping it out, like I look where this is going to land. It lands down here in this corner. Just map that out. Here's a good example of a place where I could just switch and use the black charcoal pencil. Some people feel more comfortable doing this part in pencil because the pencil does erase easier. But if you go too much pencil, if you draw too much with your pencil, the charcoal will not cover it up. So I always try to get as much done with the charcoal, the white and the black, as I can. Once you have the basic outline, then you're ready to erase the grid. This shows really the grid is only necessary in the beginning stages. I got a nice wedge cap eraser here, brand new one. Works really good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all the numbers and everything because I should be able to identify where I am at this point in time. One of the mistakes people make with using the grid, they keep it on the paper way too long. It's only to help you map out the proportions and perspective, get them in the right place, and then just get rid of it. It's just a tool. We've used it as a bridge to get where we need to get. Now let's erase it. You'll notice I tend to erase through the whole entire square. With this compressed paper, that's toned paper, it doesn't really do it as bad, but if you're using a white piece of paper or something and you erase just on the line, it'll kind of change the tooth of the paper and it can leave a little ghost line there. So we're erasing all the way through. Careful not to wrinkle your paper when you do this. A nice mechanical pencil eraser would work just fine to target these fine little areas in here if it's a new eraser. We don't want to see any pencil. Erase that all the way down, and then you can begin the shading aspect. I'll go ahead and begin up here on the cowl. You can see how easy this is going to be to shade. The soft charcoal pencil, just barely laying down some tone here, some value. The gray paper is already going to capture quite a few values for me. And I have some subtle highlights going on in here. I'm just going to take the white, capture a few of those highlights. This is where you're seeing of values as shapes of light and dark really comes into play. If you're interested in that, you can watch some of the other videos on values, basic Art 1 skills. I use a paper blender, not a colored pencil blender. I got one for my black here. Again, I barely have to push to get this to look really nice and blended together. Take a little bit of that over the white to get a nice gray tone. I also have another paper blender for the white when I want to try to keep the white really nice and clean. I'm going to be using that quite a bit on the face. But this particular medium is very forgiving. Let's say I messed up and didn't want something in a particular area. I can also come back and just erase, use this eraser or a gum eraser, a kneaded eraser. And just match the values best you can. Got a nice gray right here. A couple ways I can get that. I can use the black and white together, blend it, or perhaps I could have just left the gray of the paper. That's step number 2. Please tune in for the next episode.